Alright, let's dive into this wild story that's got everyone talking. Leopold Aschenbrenner, the 24-year-old AI prodigy, just threw a lavish wedding in the midst of his $45 billion hedge fund imploding. Yeah, you heard that right. A $30 billion loss, a who's who of Silicon Valley in attendance, and a wedding that somehow went ahead without missing a beat. But here's the thing, this isn't just a story about a tech bro's bad timing. It's a window into the absurdity, the risks, and the sheer audacity of the tech world. So, let's break it down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the timing. Just days before the wedding, Aschenbrenner's fund, Situational Awareness, took a nosedive. We are talking billions lost, investors sweating, and a margin call looming. But instead of cancelling the wedding or scaling it back, he went full steam ahead. Personally, I think this says a lot about the culture of Silicon Valley. It's not just about the money, it's about the show. The wedding wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. A detail I find fascinating is that the networking sessions, originally meant for bullish market talks, were quietly shifted to discussions about life and philosophy. Talk about a mood shift. It's like everyone in the room knew the elephant was there, but they decided to dance around it instead. Now, let's talk about the fund itself. Aschenbrenner's rise was meteoric. Valedictorian at 19, a manifesto that made him a tech darling, and a hedge fund that raised $100 million in no time. But here's where things get tricky, the fund was leveraging its capital up to 4 times. That's a massive risk, and when AI stocks took a hit, it all unraveled. What many people don't realize is that leverage like this can turn even small market downturns into catastrophic losses. It's like playing with fire, you might get away with it for a while, but eventually, it burns. And burn it did. The fact that he had to offload $3.5 billion in Anthropic stakes to avoid a margin call shows just how close to the edge he was. But then Citadel stepped in, buying up the bulk of the fund's public equity portfolio. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a classic Silicon Valley story, high risk, high reward, and always a bailout waiting in the wings. What this really suggests is that the tech world operates by its own rules. Aschenbrenner's fund collapse wasn't just a financial event, it was a cultural one. The wedding going ahead despite the chaos. That's peak Bay Area tech culture. It's like they are saying, we are untouchable. We can lose billions and still throw a party. But here's the deeper question, is this sustainable? Personally, I think this kind of behavior is a red flag. It's not just about one fund or one wedding, it's about an entire ecosystem built on hype, risk, and the assumption that someone will always bail you out. And that's a dangerous game. Another angle that's worth exploring is Aschenbrenner's background. He's not just any tech bro, he's a Columbia valedictorian, an effective altruism advocate, and someone who worked at FTX before it collapsed. That's a resume that screams, I'm here to change the world. But here's the irony, his fund was built on the idea that AI fortunes wouldn't come from chatbots, but from the infrastructure behind them. And yet, it all fell apart because of market volatility. What makes this really interesting is the disconnect between his vision and the reality of the market. It's a reminder that even the smartest people can get it wrong, and when they do, the fallout is massive. Finally, let's talk about the wedding itself. Napa Valley wine, a Berghain-style DJ set, and an 11 p.m. curfew. That's Silicon Valley in a nutshell, luxurious, quirky, and always on its own schedule. But what strikes me is the contrast between the opulence and the underlying chaos. It's like a metaphor for the tech industry as a whole, everything looks great on the surface, but beneath it, there's turmoil. One thing that immediately stands out is that Anthropic's CEO didn't attend. Was it a snub? A strategic move? Or just bad timing? We may never know, but it adds another layer of intrigue to the story. So, what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, This story is a cautionary tale about hubris, risk, and the illusion of control. Aschenbrenner's wedding wasn't just a celebration, it was a symbol of an industry that's increasingly detached from reality. And while he may have pulled off the wedding, the real test is what happens next. Can he rebuild his fund? Will investors trust him again? Or is this the beginning of the end? Personally, I think this is just the latest chapter in a much bigger story, one that's still being written. So, what do you think? Is this just another day in Silicon Valley, or is it a sign of something deeper? Let me know in the comments below.